is the Sports Dynasty Podcast. I'm Trevor. This is Anthony. And we're talking about MLB, the AL Central for today. First things first, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. We're on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play Radio, Stitcher Play Radio, App Podcast Dynasty on Twitter. You can hit us up on Facebook and Instagram. Just type in Sports Dynasty Podcast, and you will see us right there. We're trying to expand to our business into a bigger phenomenon. Right now. So yeah, so we want to touch base on pretty much all the major sports in the United States. And also, if you want to join in on the call and voice your opinions about what's going on in each sport. We're more than welcome to accommodate you. Just hit us up and we can make it happen. That being said, this is really good. So today's the AL Central. How you feeling, Anthony?
Hey, I'm feeling good, guys. AL Central is looking really interesting. I'm really actually, the more I was looking into it, the more I was intrigued because it's not just about what's going to happen this year. It's about who's actually going to start playing as well. There's a lot of prospects in this division that I didn't even know about before, and I'm just excited to see what's going to happen. So it's pretty cool.
Okay, so right now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do from worst to first the divisions first to first. So it's gonna start off with the Detroit Tigers. They finished 23-35 last season. They had key additions. They signed Robbie Grossman from Oakland, Wilson Ramos from the Mets, Akil Babadou via the Rule 5 draft from Fort Myers because he didn't play because they canceled the minor leagues last season, didn't play at all. They signed starting pitcher Jose Urena from Miami, Derek Holland from Pittsburgh, and they re-signed Jonathan Shoup. Now the key losses for the Tigers is C.J. Cron, he went to Colorado. Ivan Nova, the pitcher, he went to Philadelphia to be reunited with Joe Girardi. Austin Romine, another former Yankee, signed with the Chicago Cubs, and Jorge Belafoncio is currently a free agent and has not been signed as of yet. With the key additions for me, honestly, Detroit, honestly, it wasn't really much. They had a quiet off season. One of the biggest acquisitions they had was, they signed AJ Hinch, the manager from Houston, who was suspended. So he brings a championship caliber culture to this team. Now the thing is that it's not much you can do. They're trying to figure out. They played it safe. They added veterans to boost the lineup. You have I personally like the signing of Jose Urena. He does add. He's also a veteran pitcher who does add a little help to the lineup. Like no one's really expecting much from the Detroit Tigers, honestly. But for me, it's just hard to imagine them not being anything less than fourth or fifth place. Honestly speaking, they still have great prospects like Casey Mays and Tariq Schoolball, and who will be fighting for a position for a roster for the rotation. Because that's a lot of competition in the rotation for the Tigers. But overall, the moves they made that doesn't hurt them now because they're just building for the future. But they still have the pay that they still have Miguel Cabrera on their payroll. Unfortunately, the ridiculous payroll right then and there. But it doesn't jeopardize their long-term flexibility. But they did add something that can be useful later on. But I don't expect the Tigers to be anything more than fourth or fifth place in the AL Central. What do you think?
I would say what I put down for Detroit, I'm only expecting them to win 65 and losing 96. Now, that could change. Don't get me wrong, because there's two guys I'm looking at. Casey Mize, we actually mentioned, even though he was a bit rocky last year. And let's keep in mind the Detroit Tigers have the worst starting rotation in Major League Baseball right now with a 6.37 ERA. I mean, that's pretty bad. So defensively, they're not so good as well. So that's already two cons already to the whole entire them even getting a chance to even be fourth place. Now, there is one guy I do want to talk about. that I feel like at some point the Tigers had to bring up the season that Spencer Torkelson, like this dude is really, really good. I'm talking about this guy. Trevor looks like he plays like a Mike Trout kind of. And I just wanted to show you real quick his swing, and you tell me what you think, because the dude is
Hold on.
pretty explosive. Look at this dude. Looks like a beast, bro.
Oh
And
wow.
apparently he has Mike Trout power. Like he's really good, and he got drafted last year, and they're expecting him either to come up this year or next year. According to scouts, his power is 70 out of 80. His contact hitting is 60 out of 80. They do not see him really being a big asset on the defensive side, so he's not really going to improve the Tigers in that side. But with an aging Miguel Tejada, not really having a solid first or third baseman, he could play both positions really well compared to those guys. And he's only 21 years old. The dude is stocky, strong dude. And then you have Casey Mice. If he could
Yes.
get it together, I just feel like he will be the ace automatically. And the Tigers have a lot of guys right now that are actually in the top 100 of prospects. So the Tigers got some potential there. I see them more like an upcoming San Diego Padres the next few years. I don't really see them being so impactful, but those are guys that are gonna definitely flash some leather for the Tigers. Um, Other than that, I don't really see a lot with the Tigers. They're unfortunately they're in a division right now. There's is the White Sox and Cleveland and Royals if they really have a miracle season. But other than that, I don't really see a lot with the Tigers. Unfortunately for them, they put in all their marbles in the early 2010s, and now they're rebuilding through their prospects. So
Yes, I
it's pretty
agree.
good. Yeah.
I agree. So next up on the list, we have the Kansas City Royals. I'm glad you mentioned that up. It's a great segue. The Kansas City Royals finished 26-34 last season. Their key additions for the offseason, they added Mike Minor, a free agent. He was a free agent he was from Oakland last season. Carlos Santana from Cleveland, Michael Taylor from Washington, Wade Davis from Colorado, Irvin Santana, which I like, who opted out of the 2020 season. And
Yes.
he was previously in the White Sox in 2019. Hanser Alberto from Baltimore, and Greg Holland, who re-signed with the Royals. He was 3-0 with a 1.91 ERA. Played 28 games in relief with 6 saves. So that was a pretty good. It was really good to be able to bring him back, so you could have somewhat uh, of a anchor, if you want to say, for closer. If you want to say, it's the Royals. They're not really built right now, but their key losses was Michael Franco. He's currently still unsigned. Ian Kennedy, former Yankee, signed with the signed with the Rangers. Mike Montgomery, signed with the New York Mets, and Kevin McCarthy signed with the Red Sox, which we talked about him in the last episode. Um, I think with this offseason, with their offseason, I'm going to say that with Santana and Minor coming on board, um, they pretty much stayed safe too. They were pretty much safe. They didn't have a bad offseason. They didn't really lose anybody of note other than that, but they are a better club, a better team than they were a year ago. You definitely see the improvement.
Absolutely.
Definitely see it. Honestly, right now, like I said, I think the Royals have a really excellent fan base, but besides the signings of Minor and Santana is like okay, whatever, but it's still something to build from. Um, Other than that, to me, this is like a 75 win, 76, maybe close to 80 win team. They still have a lot of work to do, but you could definitely see something in the right direction. My issue is besides Santana and Minor, they did miss out on a lot of opportunities in free agency where they could have gotten cheaper free agents. You know what I'm saying? I do feel like they paid a lot for. I mean, you had to. You wanted to. Be for instance, that comes into mind. What's this guy? Wade Davis only played 5 games last season with two saves of relief. I mean, like I know it was a 60-game season, but we didn't see a lot from him then in
Right.
Colorado. But at least it's a step in the right direction for me. So I think that this is about a 70, 80 win team. What do you think?
You know what? I think the Royals are going to be a very interesting team. They remind me a lot of the Miami Marlins because
Interesting.
they have pieces there that if they all click, you can get a team that at least hits the wild card in the Central Division. The reason I'm saying that is because of big old Bobby Witt Jr. This guy is a beast. The dude hit a shot 484 in spring training. I'm gonna repeat that. The dude hit a shot for 484. I think it left out the field by 110 miles per hour plus. So the
Mm.
distance plus the speed, they've never seen it. And when they tracked his swing, they're like he had barely any force into the ball. That's scary.
It
And
is.
he's a shortstop. Now, Trevor, hear me out when I say this. And when you see his scouting report, tell me who he kind of reminds you of.
All right.
60 hit, 60 runs, 60 field, 60 power, 60 arms, 60 overall. The guy is a 5'2 player. Who's the last shortstop that was a 5'2 player with power contact, great fielder, overall player?
I'm gonna take a guess. Altuve, honestly. Altuve, honestly. That's probably what comes to mind.
Right, Altuve. I'm gonna bring you another guy to mind, and Alex Rodriguez.
Ah,
Yeah, because this dude, bro, his swing is short, very short. This guy is it's like if he puts the bat on the ball, it's gonna fly. Not only that, he's fast. He can steal bases. He's just a very overall guy. Also, he got drafted, I believe, was first round, second pick of the 2019 draft pick. Extremely young. This guy, right now, he's killing it in spring training. I see that if they keep this up, he's gonna be in the starting lineup. Now, we were mentioning with the Royals how they added Mike Minor and Carlos Santana. Mike Minor is a 10 plus winning pitcher.
yes.
Really good. They added Andrew Bendetti, which he's a beast on the field, bro.
Oh yeah,
He's a
you're right. You're
great
right. You're right. But doing the recording, doing the research, they had just traded for him. I was like, oh, I forgot to add it. But yes, they did add Benintendi from Boston. I do remember that. Yeah.
So I feel like with that, see, like the Royals weren't gonna do much. They'll probably be like a third. They'll probably be fighting it off with the Cleveland. But once they got him, I was like, oh. And then when I see this guy in spring training, Bobby Witt Jr., I was like, damn, you can't sleep on those guys.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they're gonna win the whole division. The White Sox right now are a very strong team. I don't see it happening. But Kansas City Royals have a lot of talent, and is their OBP, their slugging percentage is going to increase. Last year, the Royals were 27 best in on base percentage. That's not good. That means the offense was terrible. But they were 19th best in slugging. That's going to change with Bobby Witt Jr. and Andrew Benintendi. Like
Yeah.
they're not going to be that behind. Probably they'll go up to 15th, 10th place. The reason I'm saying that because Benintendi is really good. The guy is one of the best players in hitting doubles, and he gets on base a lot. And having a guy like that kind of mentor Bobby Witt Jr. is going to be really well, along with Carlos Santana. Um, they're now going away from being that 2015 World Series team to now becoming the team that they need to become for now. So
Yeah.
moving forward, Kansas City Royals, they might win a chip in a few years. That's not just for this year. I'm saying like 2025, they're gonna win a chip. They have a lot of prospects that people don't know that are already MLB ready.
That's a hot take right there. But they're gonna be
Yeah,
in the
I'll
mix.
take it.
They're gonna be in the mix. They're going to be in the mix definitely in the 2020s. Because I do, you definitely do see the improvement from all sides. A lot of people forget. As you mentioned before, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, they won the World. They were in the World Series, and 6 years ago
Yeah,
they won a championship. So,
yeah, it's crazy. So
but
they're not sleepers, man. I will never forget when they beat the Mets. And people thought like these guys were going to repeat again because the team was built so soundly. They had a great bullpen, a great starting rotation. But people forgot the Kansas City Royal, and this is during the time that they won it. They had a very solid farm system. The Royals are kind of like the Tampa Bay Rays, but they will actually be willing to spend. If that kind of makes sense. Like they will
It
put
makes
their
perfect
money
sense.
in the office. Yeah, yeah. They're smart. And dude, I'm excited to see Bobby Witt Jr. A shortstop with that kind of tools. We have not seen that since like an A-Rod. We haven't seen this since a Nomar Garcia Pera. Like we haven't really seen that. Like we do see Gleyber Torres, but I don't see Gleyber Torres. You know, forgive me for saying this if he ever hears this. I don't see Torres as a legit shortstop. He's a second baseman.
Mm.
We got Fernando Tatis in the National League side. He's explosive, but Bobby Witt Jr. overpowers him. This guy's like if Bryce Harper was a shortstop. Like it's
Yeah.
scary. Complete beast. Complete beast. So I'm 100 on him. Like I even want to get his card. Like I really think like one day his cards will be worth a couple of $1,000,000 because the guy is just he's a beast. He's legit.
All right.
Um,
Cool.
so let's
Anything,
like
anything else you wanted to
yeah, go
add?
ahead, go ahead.
Now I'm saying anything else you want to add on that on the Royals?
Oh, right now from a pitching perspective, I will say the Royals are kind of. I don't know what to say much about the rotation. I don't know what to say much about the bullpen. So that's going to play a big part. The Central is very interesting this year because you could already say, okay, they got. We could talk about the Cleveland Indians, right? They you kind of already know what they got. The Royals, they still need to figure out when it comes to the rotation and bullpen who's really going to be those solid number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and who's going to be their setup and closer because things are changing dramatically for that team as they start moving people up from the farm system into the MLB teams. So that all depends. So I don't have much opinion on Kansas City Royals right now because they're still developing. But I'm just saying, I'm just giving people I'm just blowing the whistle, letting them know don't sleep on this team. They are going to be very competitive. They got the tools. They
All
got
right.
the tools.
Cool. So the next person team on the list is the Chicago White Sox. They finished third place last season in the division. They went 35-25 last season. These guys really had a very busy offseason. The key additions they had was Liam Hendricks from Oakland, Adam Eaton from Washington, Lance Lynn in that big trade with the Texas Rangers, and Carlos Rodon, who had that was one of the key additions. But they did lose James McCann. He went to the Mets. Alex Colon went to Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
Ross Detweiler went to Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Lane Dunning, who was part of the Lance Lynn trade, he went to Texas, and they lost Edwin Carcion. Um, Definitely had an aggressive offseason.
Yes.
They wanted to piggyback on their playoff appearance last season. It's a juggernaut a lineup. You got Tim Anderson, Eloy Jimenez, Yohan Makata, and Luis Robert to go along with Yasmani Grandal and Jose Abreu, who might I add is the MVP, the reigning
Yes.
MVP. The
Yep.
pitching is already deep already. Dallas Ketchel, Dylan Cease, and Lance Lynn, and then possibly a return of Michael Kopech, who opted out last season. Who knows? Like this team could be a serious problem in the not only AL Central, but in the American League because wow, they're win now right now too. Um, and someone may not add they did bring in Tony La Russa, a Hall of Fame manager, who came back out of retirement to do this. I mean, besides, La Russa, I personally didn't understand why she came back, but hey, they wanted someone with championship experience that could really get the best out of there. Which I think is weird because a lot of Major League Baseball teams they're trying to move away from like the old school type. Excuse me, the old school type of manager, more of
Right.
a new school like analytic type of style. But it's very interesting that they will bring back Tony La Russa. But this is a team. This is a team that is going to be in the mix in there. So this is going to be interesting. What do you think?
Well, I would say Tony La Russa is a good pick. I think no one can really forget what Tony La Russa did with the Cardinals in the late 2000s and the beginning of 2010 because this dude led the Cardinals, I believe, it was like 2, 3 chips already,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty impressive. He's with the team that they got, they needed someone with some kind of World Series experience. The team right now doesn't have that. So Tony La Russa as a manager who's already, you could say, built these teams already. Tony Russo is a good choice. Even though I know a lot of people are getting away from that kind of old traditional coach, they come in handy when a team is unexperienced. And with a team like that, you need Tony La Russa. Now, what I do want to mention, and this is my pet peeve, I don't think Jose Abreu should have won the MVP. I think it
Oh,
should
really?
have been DJ. Yeah, I just don't see why he won it. Because DJ last year, I felt like he did better. And also the Yankees went further into the playoffs. And I know some people don't want to involve that, but you're talking about a guy that had the highest average for both leagues. The batting average alone should have been crazy. And also he hit for power, and he did pretty good. Just offensively, like compared to Isaiah Abreu, I didn't see it. Not
Yeah,
saying that he doesn't deserve it, but I was like, dang, like I was surprised that he won it. Good for him, but I'm just saying, like I didn't see it as a first baseman. Talking about DJ LeMahieu who plays every part of the field. I'm like I was surprised, right?
it could definitely
Uh,
be. It could. I'm sorry. It could definitely be misleading because remember it's a 60-game season. You know,
yeah.
it's literally like okay, it's only a small sample size. I think with that I'm like okay, I get you wanted to like get the awards out and everything, but like it's a small sampling size. What Jose Abreu would have been able to continue that stretch for a 162 game season? Who knows? We'll say they are DJ. Who knows? But now with everything,
But DJ's proven it. He's been a 300 plus average hitter, so he's been doing that for the last 2, 3 seasons. Jose Abreu he wasn't playing at the same level every single year. That's why I was kind of like for example, if I run you the numbers, right? The year prior, he hit for power 33 home runs, 123 RBIs, batting average was 284.
mm-hmm.
Last year, he batting average was 317, 60 RBIs. Jose Abreu is a good player. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that I did for a first baseman, you typically expect these kind of numbers. DJ LeMahieu was doing that, literally playing every position of the field with a team that's always constantly injured. I just want to remember that. Stan and Judge weren't even in the lineup most of the season. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, those things should be put into play. He didn't really have a lot of people protecting him. Torres had like a rough season last year compared to what he did in 2019. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if you look at DJ's numbers, are very impressive with a team that was hurt compared to Jose Abreu. That the team was mostly healthy most of the year. I wasn't so impressed. That's all I'm saying. But I see your point. Is the 60-game season can be very misleading. Who knows how long these guys could have kept that up? I do want to bring one guy up, bro. Is Tim Anderson? He's a prolific player. The dude won a Silver Slugger Award last year and did great. Lucas Giolito, who almost won the Cy Young, did really good too. Like the El Central had a lot of good Cy Young quality pitchers, but it's great that the White Sox have that guy now to go to into next season, especially adding Lance Lynn, who's literally an Iron Man. This man can pitch for basically pitch a whole season, and you know what he's going to give you. The guy is extremely reliable. They added another guy to their bullpen, Lime Hendricks, which is a beast. Like this team is scary, bro. They're very talented. Even though I know I
now,
went off of Jose Abreu, but
yeah.
they're really good, really good.
Well, well, as far as Rodon, right? Carlos Rodon, right? Now, probably an issue that people maybe could be concerned with him is his health. Can he stay healthy? Like because he does have problems with staying on the field. But
All right.
I think that's what most Chicago White Sox fans are probably wondering. I don't know, maybe, but for the most part, offensively, they just added more offensively when they kind of did what they need to. But I guess they wanted to keep pace, especially when in the division so competitive when they in theirs. You know, it doesn't hurt to have extra wheels on the truck just in case something falls off and everything. But I
Mm-hmm.
think they had a definitely a good off season. Definitely a good off season. They were very aggressive actually. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes with them. Any other thing you want to add about with the White Sox?
Well, I think you also got to you can't forget Adam Eaton. Adam
Oh
Eaton
yes.
was that dude is fast. Now there are some people that are wondering if he's going to get an extension at some point, but this dude is a machine. He's a straight up machine. The dude can hit. Now last year I know he had kind of some issues with his hitting. He wasn't really healthy. Some people say he has some injuries, but he's really good. He's a reliable player. And I think the White Sox need that kind of guy. Now, the only problem that I have with Adam Wheaton is that he's turning 32 years old. He's really known for being a solid fielder, but I don't know how much that kind of addition really adds to them. They do have one guy that is very important is Andrew Vaughn. Andrew Vaughn is a legit player that's coming up, but the problem is he's not much of a fielder. They're trying to think. The thing with Andrew Vaughn is that they're seeing him as a designated hitter. And right now, Chicago White Sox, you got to keep in mind that it's not just their division. They're thinking about how do we eclipse the Yankees. So you need to have a guy in every part of your lineup that's solid. Like if they want to go past the division series and go into facing the Yankees, you need that guy. And I think Andrew Vaughn can be that guy. This guy's scouting report is insane. Like his power is 60. He's a better contact hitter than power hitter. In every facet of the game, from high school to college, he's been the best player. The dude is relentless. He got picked first in the first round, third pick in the 2019 draft. He's already projected to play already into this year, and I think he's going to be a solid play. Um, I was watching his hit, dude. The dude literally looks like Mike Trout hitting, and I wanted to show it to you because a lot of people don't know about Andrew Vaughn because Chicago White Sox don't really get that much attention, like the Yankees or the Mets. But like this dude, bro, I was watching him hit, and I'm like, yo, I like Tim Anderson. You got Jose Abreu. If this guy shows up, it's gonna be very hard for any pitcher to get past that lineup. You're looking at a team that I don't think, dude. Just see that again. Tell me what you think, Trevor.
Swing's amazing. That's
Look
ridiculous.
how look how fast out the park, bro. His swing is so short, very Mike Trout like, very short. He don't really have to do a lot. He didn't even extend it there. He just completely clobbered that ball. This kid is young. The dude got it all. The dude got it all. He's a good player. Now the only thing that could go wrong with the White Sox is if they don't bring these guys up. They have they have the prospect. They have the third baseman that they need. Now his problem is kind of like Miguel Andujar. Can he field? Is that's what they're thinking about DH, right? Is that if it doesn't work out in DH and they need to put a guy in there, a veteran that's probably tired, or something happened to Jose Abreu and he can't play out on the field, where you put Andrew Vaughn? Because he is a first baseman, great hitter, but he will fit more the DH role. So if all of this clicks and they get Andrew Vaughn, I can see them winning 88 to 99 to 91 games. Very competitive. They're going to be. I predict the White Sox pass Minnesota this year. I don't see them being second place. They will be first place if all these
Well,
things click.
but I'm gonna give my predictions for the division after everything's over. I do think it's interesting what you just said because I'm gonna explain that towards we finish the thing. But that's interesting. You said the White Sox be first place in this division. I think it's very interesting. But moving on to the Cleveland Indians, who finished second place in the AL Central, 35 to
Mm-hmm.
25. This is where it gets interesting because obviously they had key. Let's talk about the losses. They had a lot of key losses. The big one, the
Yes.
elephant in the room, is Francisco Lindor went to the Mets. Lindor and Carlos Carrasco went to the Mets. Carlos Santana, obviously, we mentioned earlier, he signed with the Kansas City Royals, and Brad Hand went to the Washington Nationals. But let's talk about the Lindor trade for now. They got back from the Mets Andres Jimenez and Amed Rosario. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, when they traded Lindor, I said, damn. So are they gonna are they gonna like rebuild again?
Rebuild. Yeah.
Like that's what I thought. That's what I thought they were gonna do. But the pieces they got back with Jimenez and Rosario, I'm sorry, Amed Rosario from the Mets. I'm like, they got back some decent talent back for him. Um, to me, they are kind of in the middle as far as like, okay, they're not fully rebuilding. They're still going to be competitive, but then they also have pieces that they gained from the Mets that can help them in the future. I really like Amed Rosario. I really do like him. I think he's a
Mm.
has.
So he's
I,
a good
I, I,
player.
I, huh? He's a good player.
He's
But
he's a good player.
I think that he's going to blossom into a great player.
I think the Indians are an interesting team. I do think that they are in rebuild mode. I do believe that they will be trading Jose Ramirez really soon. Because they have some prospects coming up. For
Yeah.
example, you have Tristan McKenzie that played last year. His windup reminds me a lot of Pedro Martinez. Like he's just very flashy, can throw hard, guy throws 97, 98 on any given day. Great pitcher. I do think the Indians do have a problem though with their veterans. I think just some of these guys, they're trying to win a check. Like when Francisco Lindor, I think the other day, he was talking with a reporter. He was saying, well, towards the end of the season, he started to get tired of the Cleveland Indians team. Like he was just like, you know what? I don't. He wasn't even working out anymore. He just didn't care, you know. And that tells you a lot. Like if Francisco Lindor felt like he couldn't even focus on the team's improvement, to actually get better for next year, along with them trading Carasso, that kind of tells me, okay, what's going on with the leadership of the Cleveland Indians? Because they got talent, they're good, even though last year their offense wasn't there, which is crazy because they got Eddie Rosario, they got Jose Ramirez, and Jose Ramirez is really good, and Franmil Reyes is going to get even better. They have a lot of power hitters. The thing I believe that's going to be very important for the Cleveland Indians, if they even want to hit number two or be that first place team, is going to be how Shane Bieber plays, and also if basically their young guys step up because they have a Cy Young player. Shane Bieber is really good, but their rotation is really good. They have a solid bullpen. It just depends on how this going to play out. Can they stay healthy? Can they turn around the morale of the team to get them to still contend? Because the Twins and the White Sox, right? The one thing that they kind of got going on right now is the White Sox have a lot of new guys, and you don't know how this team is really going to click. I'm hoping it works out, but the only drawback with the White Sox and the Cleveland's don't got is the Cleveland still have a very set team. These guys have been playing with the same manager for a few years already.
Yes.
That's kind of the difference with the Twins and the White Sox in Cleveland. Like Cleveland actually has a very solid leadership. The only thing that got me a little worried is when Lindor was saying those comments, and I was like, and I know people were trashing Lindor, like, oh, why would he say that about his team, dude? Like, he just got traded, drop it. But these are indications that this team needs to make sure the leadership is proper, that they're able to be durable throughout the whole season in order to even make it to the playoffs. So those are the things that I have with the Indians. It's like if they stay healthy, they can win. They can be an 80 win plus team. It just depends on if the new guys step up and if the old guys that kind of didn't have such a good season last year can step it up this year. And I think that they'll be fine. But they are weird. It is a weird team because you really don't know where they're going. I predict they go under, but my hope is that they go over and they're able to perform better than last year.
Yeah, I'm glad I mentioned that. Yeah, like, but they I said they're in the middle. Like you mentioned that
Yeah,
weird that
yeah.
they're in the middle. Like they're still good enough to compete in the American League in the division, but they still set themselves up for the future. Like they're like, okay, fine, we can still, yeah, we traded Lindor, whatever and everything, but we still have pieces that can help us out in the future. You mentioned, their farm system, the projects coming up. They can still be able. They still stuff for the future though. The future for them is bright, but they can still compete right now. So it's kind of weird, but I get what you're saying though. But yeah, them losing Lindor in hindsight at first when it happened, it was like, oh wow, what are you doing? But now to me, I guess there's a method to everyone's madness. I guess if you understand what I mean,
Right.
right?
No, I get it. It's just a weird. They're like right now they're a number three team in the division, but it's almost like they have the capacity to be a number two, or they could be a number four, just depending on how they play. And the AL Central's always been wacky and weird like that. Like these guys, most of the teams in this division usually are like literally a game or two behind each other. It's
Yes,
very close. It's not. It's a very exciting division because it's not like the AL East where you could kind of figure out who's gonna be on the front end of the standings. Like, all right, the Yankees, good team, Blue Jays, good team. They're probably gonna be killing it this whole season. The AL Central does not work like that, and that's why I kind of have hope for the Cleveland Indians. But then again, this team could go sour very soon too. So it just
yes.
depends on what they decide to do with it.
To add on what you just said, last season the Twins, White Sox, and Indians were only separated by one game. One game.
Yeah,
That
freaking crazy.
yeah, because Chicago had a hold on it for a while, but then they kind of fizzled out towards the end of the regular season, and Minnesota pretty much took it over at literally the last week of the regular season. So that's very interesting. You said that, and we finally the first place winner of last season of the AL Central, the Minnesota Twins. They finished 36-24. Who knows when they're going to win a playoff series? Because it's been forever since it happened. Um, they added Simmons from the Angels. I can't really pronounce his name, but I'm not gonna say his name because I can't pronounce it correctly. They signed J.A. Happ from the Yankees. Alex Colon from the White Sox. Hansel Robles, he's a free agent, and Nelson Cruz. They resigned him. The Twins resigned him, Nelson Cruz, who had a really really good season last season. 16 home runs, 33 RBIs, 33 BOT batting average. Pretty good. But to be honest, the Twins lost a lot. They lost a lot of talent in this offseason. Eddie Rosario went to Cleveland. Matt Winslow went to San Francisco. Trevor
Yep.
May went to the Mets. Alex Avila went to Washington. Adrian Oza went to Atlanta. Tyler Clipper went to Arizona. Sergio Romo signed with Oakland. Jake O'Dorsey is still, as of right now, unsigned. Marvin Gonzalez went to the Red Sox, and Homer Bailey is still unsigned right now. But they lost a lot, and I can understand why people say why you say that the White Sox. You can say that they took over the division because of how
Hmm.
they're aggressive all season, but the Twins lost a lot. I do like them adding J.A. Happ to the rotation. You have a pretty strong veteran in the lineup. I like J.A. Happ. I do like him. He's a Yankee. He's a former Yankee, but I like him. He's pretty solid. Um, for the most part, I just feel that they were kind of cheap this year, but I get it. They wanted to improve, most likely improve, but I just think that that's a lot of loss, and to me. But what do you think about that?
I think the Twins was kind of weird because it was you would think a team that's lost. Man, let me rephrase this. I don't know how a team that 2 years consecutively loses in one game, right? Like they can't even get to a playoff series. That's crazy. These guys may be worse than the Dallas Cowboys. Like like this
Can't
is
win a
bad,
game.
bro. They can't win a game. Like, all right, like the Cowboys at least make it into a series. And I know this is NFL, we're talking about NFL mixing with MLB, but I need you to understand the extent of how the Twins have literally in the last 20 years have not been able to successfully win absolutely nothing. With all the times that they've been able to at least make it to the playoffs, it is sad.
It's
It
true.
is sad. And I know people make fun of the Mets, but nah, it's worse when you have all these opportunities and you've literally got zero, zero. So like you have nothing. What are you doing? And then this was the season I'm like, all right, maybe they'll go for something big. And especially with the tax revenue now that the MLB has, there's no reason why a team like the Twins can't get a big guy. They could have added Trevor Bauer. They could have actually that would have helped them a lot. Let's be real. Like I feel like they needed that kind of like Cy Young kind of guy. But the problem with Minnesota is that in 2019 they had an explosive offense, but that
Yes,
same offense didn't perform in 2020. Now they're kind of betting that they're going to get in 2021 because now it's going to be a longer season, and this is why they signed Nelson Cruz, and they do have Alex Kurloff, which just could be really well. He'll be a good outfield, but the Twins are aging. You have Josh Donaldson, Jorge Polanco, Mitch Garber. These guys, you're putting a lot of risk here. These guys are in their 30s. They're not young. They're not even in their prime no more. I don't know. The Minnesota Twins are iffy to me, man. It's not like the White Sox. You see these guys up and coming. They're coming in with fire. Like most of their guys, like put this in perspective. Most of the guys that the White Sox have are either in their early 30s or late 20s. They're about to peak. The Twins are about to phase out. They could even fall number 3 this year because I don't see them having that. Andrelton Simmons, he's a great shortstop, excellent player. He's getting old too. He's been injured. Byron Buxton, the same thing, great center fielder, a lot of injuries. It's kind of like having the Yankees without the power, without having the all-star players. You can only survive so long with that kind of team. So, am I saying that it's all over for them? No, because they do got Kenta Maeda, and I just want to mention him. He almost won the Cy Young as well, right? Like if you notice that there's a trend here, the AL Central they birth a lot of Cy Young winners. They birth a lot of guys that are top guys, but you need Maeda and you need Jose Barrios to step it up. Like these two got to be there 1 and 2. Your pitching has to bring you to the game.
yes,
They need to drive the Twins to the playoffs. Obviously, their offense goes silent, but not for nothing, their pitching goes silent too. You can't have both if you're gonna keep this whole let's make it to the wild card game and then lose out. That has to stop. It has to stop. But if it's the Yankees, don't let it stop. They need to lose. But other than that, if they want to change it, because
I think
you ever notice this? The Yankees and Twins always face each other in the wild card. I don't think that will happen this season. But the Twins need to have their 1 and 2 go. Mayada and Barrios have to kick ass this year. There's no excuse. I don't want to hear it. You know, they those are two Cy Young guys. The Twins don't get it done, bro, because these guys for some reason they don't hold their talent. If you remember Santana when they let him go and he signed with the Mets, this has happened a lot. They have these great starters and they let them go. Just like they did with Johan Santana. If the Twins really want to win, this is the year they have to do it. Because after this, I don't know how they keep these guys.
I agree.
The tickets gonna be too pricey, bro. These guys are gonna be high end, expensive players. You're not gonna pay them $30-40 million a year. They're too cheap. So that's what I'm
I,
saying. That this is the year the Twins have to figure it out.
yes, and also, you have to understand that we live in a society where, especially in sports, it's win now or what have you done for me lately? Yeah, they won, but before last season because of the virus shortened season, they won 100 games the year before. They won 90 something games the year before that. You know what I'm saying? You have
Insane
the
team.
talent.
Insane
Huh?
team.
You know what I'm saying? They're the same
I
team,
said,
but you have
yeah,
the talent.
it's a good team.
You have the talent, but it's like what? But like I said, postseason. So I agree with you, and I'm gonna go a step further, saying that if they don't win, like if they don't even win a playoff series, then they gotta make changes, especially with the manager and whatever. Because then it's like, okay, what are you really doing? Like we're giving you the talent and you're not doing anything with it. They have to do something about it. So that's just me. But for overall, even though I did mention that you mentioned the White Sox are going to win this division, I said the Twins will win this division, but barely. They'll barely win this division. 94 games, 93 games. I had the White Sox at 92, the Indies at 88, the Royals at 81, and the Tigers at 73. But you mentioned the top, like with the Twins and White Sox. I think that's going to be a dog fight to the end. That's going to be a dog fight. I don't
Uh,
see where. I don't see unless injuries happen where there'll be a 6-7 game lead in this division. I think you'll see like pretty much 1 game lead throughout the entire season. It's going to be a dogfight between the White Sox and Twins. But that's just me. So, any else you want to add?
No, I mean, I think it's just that they right now they need to step up. They had a team that again was 190 to plus 100 games the last couple of seasons, except last season because it was a 60-game season. But if the Twins don't get it together, this team is going to fall apart.
I agree.
Very, very fast. I mean, is there even a team in the last few years that you can look at that kind of reminds you of the Twins? That like they didn't get it together and then it just collapsed?
Oh, it's been a while. I think you could say
The Red Sox?
um not the Red Sox. No, not the Red Sox because
No,
no, not the
actually,
Red
they
Sox.
they actually win. Yeah, they've managed to win when they know the team is about to blow up. They always find a way to win. I'll give that to the Red Sox. Like 2018,
I guess you could
I
say
could just
early.
imagine.
I guess you could say the early 2000 Angels. After 02, they could win
Mm,
100 games every single year. 100 games. They won 100 games like 3 years in a row. If I'm not mistaken, and you losing the first
right.
round. Like they couldn't get over the hump. And then when they did, especially in 2013, no, not 2013. I don't remember the year. No, a couple of years ago, I think it was like 20. I don't remember seeing the Angels. No, I'm lying. 09, 2009, they made it to the ALCS to the Yankees, lost to the Yankees. But ever since then, they have underachieved. Yeah, they have that much talent. They can't win without talent. But yeah, I would say the Angels in the mid 2000s that were really 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 good just couldn't get over the hump. Like that's not. And you can check for me right there, but
No,
I'm
yeah, like
born.
I'm seeing here, like they had David Carpenter, they had Scott Downs, they had Zach Greinke, they had Latroy Hawkins was a beast. I don't even think the people even give him some respect. They had Irvin Santana, C.J. Wilson. Remember C.J. Wilson?
I remember him.
Beast. Beast. Jared Weaver. Jared Weaver was lit. Like they had a bomb squad, and what they did, absolutely nothing, which I don't understand. And this is when they had Pujols, Morales. I think they had a young Trout too. Yeah, Vernon Wells, Torrey Hunter, Bobby Abreu. Like
There was no
this was a
reason why
crazy team.
there was no reason why they shouldn't be able to at least challenge for World Series during that time. They just couldn't get over the hump. And then especially when you have a blossomed once in a generation player in Trout, and they came in bigger, barely won 75 games. But this is about the Angels. But I'm
Right.
just It's not about the Angels, but the
But it's a
Twins.
but it's a, it's a good comparison. The Twins
Yeah,
have the same problem with Simmons and Buxton, and now they got this thing with Jose Barrios and Maeda. Like you guys can't say you don't have a good team. Let's be
I
real.
agree.
If they play good, they're 100 plus team. They're neck and neck with the Yankees for the last few years. They can't get over the hump. So I don't want to hear it. I'm like, if they don't win this year, that team's gonna come apart. Already,
Mhm.
the Twins are cheap. They they will get rid of them. It's, and they signed a bunch of guys that are iffy, like whole Josh Donaldson. The crazy part about him is that I love the way he plays. When he was with the Blue Jays, dude, he was a beast, a freaking monster. But I don't know if Josh Donaldson can do the same thing. He's about to be what? I think this year's about to be 35. The last good season he had was with the Braves. He had 37 home runs, 94 RBIs. Guy has spectacular on base percentage and a 259 batting average, but that's not the Josh Donaldson that I know and that you know and that we watched growing up because Josh Donaldson, when he was in his peak, right, in 2015, I think it was 29, 30 years old, he had 123 RBIs, 41 home runs. The guy had a batting average of 297 and on base percentage of 371. His slugging was 500 above 500. The dude was a monster. That's not the guy that you're signing right now. So even the reason I bring Josh Donaldson is because some people have come to me and told me, "Oh, Josh Donaldson, the Twins got him. They're gonna be a good team this year." It's like that's not good enough. You don't know what you're gonna get out of Josh Donaldson. He's about to hit 35. Yeah, like usually once you hit those age numbers, like you kind of get over. This guy is not. He's not Adrian Beltre. He's not that kind of player. He's aged. Injuries have affected him, so we don't know what's really going to happen with the Twins. They're just as I say as the Cleveland, just a little bit, a little better off.
Yeah.
That's slightly it.
This was another good episode, man. Another good conversation. This is very informative, actually. If you guys are listening, very informative. Let's see, you guys. What do you guys think about how the AL Central is going to fall out? You guys can hit us up in the comment, and we'll probably put that on the on the on the,
Don't
on the
forget the projections. That you said you're going to mention your projections.
No, yeah. I mentioned it already. I said that the White Sox will probably be a game short from the Twins from winning this division. I do have the Twins winning 93 games. The White Sox win 92 games, and the Indians win 88. Yeah, so it's gonna be very close towards the end. But for the most part, man, this is good. I've enjoyed it, man.
Yeah, this was good. Very interesting. Very interesting division. Very interesting talk. I mean, we could keep going for hours because the situation on every team is very interesting. There's nothing. It's not like we're talking about the Dodgers and the Yankees, where you kind of know, like, okay, Yankees got to stay healthy, and the Dodgers have to. Do they have the mindset they can keep going? This division is very wacky. It's like you don't know what you're going to get out of it. So it was very interesting. Yeah, I agree.
Yes. The next episode we'll be discussing the American League West and
Yes.
whether it'll be a change of the guard or will we see an old foe come back to continue with their dominance. We'll talk about more about that in the next episode. But before we just leave, make sure you know what to do. Like, share, and subscribe on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play Radio, Stitcher Play Radio, at Podcast Dynasty on Twitter. We're on iTunes. Well, I'm sorry, we're on Facebook and Instagram. Type in Sports Dynasty Podcast, you'll see us right there. Once again, we appreciate you guys for supporting us. We'll see you guys soon. Take care, guys.